The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Hello, America. It is Thursday, March 19th, 2026, and you are listening to The Neural Right. I'm Diane Albright, and I have my coffee and maybe a splash of something stronger for later because, honey, the world is not getting any less ridiculous.
It really isn't, Diane. I'm Will Sterling, coming to you from the barn in Maine. And, what is going on here? We have drones over the Capitol, a legislative revolt in the Senate, and meanwhile, the price of gas is moving faster than a politician's excuses.
Oh, please. It's like they want us to just sit down and take it. But we won't. We had a busy one yesterday, didn't we? We talked about the Supreme Court finally putting a leash on California's school secrecy laws, thank God, and that absolutely chilling Code Red report on Google's AI bias.
Right, and the fallout from Operation Epic Fury is still settled over everything like a thick fog. Joe Kent's resignation from the NCTC is still the talk of the town. But today, we've got a solid lineup that proves common sense is still alive, even if it's currently under siege.
It's a survivalist's guide to the news today, Well. We're looking at some actual justice in the courts, the standoff over the Save America Act, and why your grocery bill is about to get even uglier. But let's start with a rare win for the good guys. Will, you saw this Texas case?
I did. And honestly, it's about time, Diane. We're seeing a shift. For years, we've been told that accountability is a dirty word, but Judge Raquel West in Beaumont, Texas, she just gave us a reality check.
Oh, I love a woman who doesn't take any nonsense. Tell them what happened.
So you have this 18-year-old, Caden Fontanet. He and his buddies decide to hit a convenience store in Nederland with an assault-style rifle. They terrorized a clerk, Diane, terrified her. And the defense, they actually had the nerve to beg for probation because he's just a kid.
Honey, no. If you're old enough to point a rifle at a hardworking woman's head, you're old enough to see the inside of a cell for a long, long time.
Exactly. And the prosecutor, Tommy Coleman, I want to buy this guy a steak. He told the judge, I'm not in the habit of begging, but for this community, I'm begging you. Send him to prison. And Judge West, she didn't blink. 25 years.
25 years. Good. That's how you protect a community. You don't give youthful offenders a pass when they're playing with life and death. The social justice crowd must be losing their minds.
They are. They're calling it regressive. But ask the clerk if it feels regressive. And it's not just Texas. Look at the FBI's hostage rescue team. They just pulled 16-year-old Madison Fields out of a hotel in Atlanta. She was taken from South Carolina.
Wait, the FBI actually doing their job instead of raiding pro-life dads?
I know, right? It's a shock. But the HRT, the real pros, they moved in and got her out safely. It's a reminder that when the federal government focuses on actual crime and not political dissent, they're actually quite good at it.
Well, let's hope they keep that energy, because while some judges are growing a backbone, others are still letting violent gang members walk. We're seeing this two-tracked justice system, Will. If you're a socialite, like that woman in LA who ran over those two little boys while speeding in her SUV, Rebecca Grossman, at least her conviction was upheld this week.
Right. The appeals court wasn't buying her excuses. But think about it. Why are these cases even news? Because we've become so used to the ruling class getting a slap on the wrist while the working man gets the book thrown at him. Or worse, the criminals get let out to haunt the working man again.
It's the ingrate philosophy, Will. They hate the idea of a stable, safe neighborhood because stable people don't need the elites to manage their lives.
Speaking of the elites managing things, let's talk about the Save America Act. Diane, this is your wheelhouse. The Senate is currently in a talkathon, which is just a fancy DC word for we're staying up late to yell at each other.
Oh,
Oh, give me a break. The SAVE Act, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. It passed the House in February, and now the Senate is acting like asking for a birth certificate is an act of war. President Trump has made this his #1 priority. He's basically told Congress, I'm not signing a single thing. No funding, no nothing until this is on my desk.
And the Democrats are losing it. They're calling it the quote-unquote most dangerous attack on voting rights ever. I mean, literally, that's the headline in the Democracy docket. Why? Why is asking for a passport or a birth certificate dangerous?
Because they think we're stupid. Well, they want us to believe that the average American is too incompetent to find their own ID. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations, and it's disgusting. The bill requires physical photo ID, not a student ID from some radical university, and it ends mail-in registration. You have to show up in person and prove you are a citizen of this country.
I mean, think about it. We've talked about this before, back in February. It's a baseline for a functioning country. If you don't know who's voting, you don't have a country. You have a suggestion box for whoever can stuff the most envelopes.
Exactly. And Trump has 40 House conservatives in a legislative revolt right now. They're voting down everything, even the easy stuff, just to keep the pressure on the Senate. It's high stakes, Will. It's a game of chicken, but the prize is the integrity of the 2026 midterms.
And it ties right into the border. We've seen the numbers drop, thank goodness, which we talked about back in February, but the phase 2 of the plan is what's happening now. The House just passed H.R. 1958, the Deporting Fraudsters Act.
Deporting fraudsters. It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It's common sense. If you are here illegally and you are caught defrauding the taxpayer, we're talking SNAP benefits, Social Security fraud, you are out. On the next plane, no progressive diversion programs, no equity hearings. You lied to the people providing for you, you leave.
And 20 Democrats actually voted for it. Even they could see the writing on the wall. When the bill for these migrant benefit programs starts hitting the billions, like we're seeing in Colorado and New York, suddenly the compassion runs out of the checkbook.
Well, that's the thing. They hate you, but they love your money, and they're running out of it.
Right. Speaking of running out of money, can we talk about the sticker shock at the pump? I was driving the grandkids to practice yesterday, and I nearly choked on my my water, looking at the sign. $3.58 national average.
And that's the cheap version, Diane. In California, it's $5.34. Washington State is nearly $5. And this isn't just inflation. This is the direct result of the Iran conflict.
Operation Epic Fury. We knew this would happen. When you strike the hornet's nest, you're gonna get stung at the pump. The Strait of Hormuz is basically a parking lot right now, and crude oil is at $100 a barrel.
And the Fed. Oh, don't even get me started on the Fed. Chair Powell is facing a criminal probe, which is just perfect timing. And the producer price index just came in hot, 3.4% increase in wholesale prices.
Which means the prices at the grocery store are going to go up again in about 3 weeks. It's a double whammy. The refineries are switching to that summer blend gasoline, which is always more expensive, plus the war. Honey, we're looking at $4 gas nationwide by Easter.
It's the reality gap. Washington says the economy is solid, but the people in the wood-paneled studios and the people in the minivans are living in two different universes.
They really are. And while we're struggling to pay for eggs, the people who are supposed to be teaching our children are busy spending our tax dollars on far-left political slush funds. Will, you saw those labor filings for the NEA and AFT?
$43 million, Diane. Between late 24 and now, the teachers' unions have funneled $43 million into social justice unionism. Not books, not desks, not teacher raises. They sent $300,000 to the 1630 Fund, a massive dark money group.
Of course they did. And they're using that money to file briefs to stop parents from opting their kids out of sexually explicit materials. They want your kids, Will. They want to be the third parent, and they want you to pay for the privilege.
It's institutional rot. It's the same reason we're seeing silent discos in historic cathedrals. Have you seen this? They're turning sacred spaces into nightclubs because they've lost the plot on what tradition even means.
It's embarrassing. It really is. It's like they're desperate to be relevant to a culture that hates them anyway. But before we get too deep into the cultural collapse, we have to talk about who is actually trying to run the show in D.C.
You mean the Mullen hearing?
Yes, Mark Wayne Mullen. He's the nominee for DHS, replacing Kristi Noem. And honey, Rand Paul was not having it.
That was explosive. Rand Paul, who is the committee chair, confronted Mullen about calling him a freaking snake back in 2017. He basically asked him, why should we trust a man with anger issues to run ICE and the Border Patrol?
See, this is where I'm conflicted, Will. I love a fighter. We need a mama bear or a papa bear at DHS who isn't afraid to get their hands dirty. But calling a fellow Republican a snake and making jokes about him being assaulted by a neighbor, it's not a great look.
I disagree. I think Mullen's bluntness is exactly what the ruling class is afraid of. They want these polished boarding school types who use big words while the country falls apart. Mullen is a cage fighter, Diane. Literally. We need a cage fighter to handle the cartels.
A cage fighter for the cartels. I can see the campaign on now, but the bar fare is real too. The DC bar is trying to disbar anyone who worked for the first Trump term. It's a purge, Will, a total ideological purge.
They hate you. I say it every day, but they really do. And if they can't beat you at the ballot box, which is why they're fighting the SAVE Act, they'll beat you in the courtroom or by stripping your professional license. It's terrifying. But you know what's more terrifying? Drones. Unidentified drones over Fort McNair.
This is the story that should be on every front page. Fort McNair is in D.C. It's where Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth live. And for the last 10 days, drones have been hovering over their homes.
And the Pentagon is refusing to comment. That tells you everything you need to know. We are at Force Protection Level Charlie, the second highest alert at bases across the country. We've got Iran breathing down our necks, and we can't even secure the airspace over our own cabinet members?
I've been saying this since February. The bureaucratic paralysis around drone defense is a national scandal. We have the tech, we have lasers, we have jammers, but we're so worried about regulatory hurdles that we're letting foreign actors, or whoever this is, map out the bedrooms of our top officials?
It makes me want to scream. But let's take a breath. We need to support the people who are actually trying to build something real in this mess.
Before we get back to the analysis, let's deal with a hard reality. Real independence isn't free. This entire network, from this show to our flagship, The Neural Daily, exists because one man, Eric Christensen, decided to build it himself. He didn't ask for a government grant. He invested his own capital and technical expertise to architect a media platform that respects your intelligence. If you value that kind of meritocratic building, back it up. And don't limit yourself just to the politics. Get the full strategic picture by subscribing to The Neural Daily and the rest of the network. Support the builder and you support the mission.
We are back, and honestly, after all that talk of drones and bar fare and gas prices, I need a palate cleanser, Will. Let's talk about something that actually makes sense. Let's talk about March Madness.
The madness of meritocracy. It officially starts today, Diane. And in a world where everything feels like it's decided by a diversity panel or a secret committee, the basketball court is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It really is. The ball either goes in or it doesn't. You can't equity your way into a three-pointer. We've got Duke as the number 1 seed, but I'm looking at the underdogs. I love a Cinderella story, Will. It's the American dream and a jersey.
It is. You've got California Baptist and Queens making their debuts.
These are schools that shouldn't be there on paper, but they earned it. They played the games, they won the brackets, and now they have a seat at the table.
And look at South Florida. They're the number 11 seed, and they're facing Louisville today. Everyone is counting them out, but Louisville is hurting. They lost their star freshman, Michael Brown Jr., to a back injury. South Florida has this incredible defense, Will. They're number 3 in the nation for rebounding. I'm telling you, keep an eye on them.
See, this is the common sense angle. While the rest of the world is arguing over whether merit is a colonial construct, the NCAA tournament is a reminder that excellence is real. Hard work is real. Physical discipline is real.
And it's not just basketball. Have you heard about plogging?
Plogging? Is that some kind of new AI software?
No, it's picking up litter while jogging. It's a trend starting in these communities where people are tired of seeing their parks look like trash heaps. They're combining fitness with physical service. It's common sense community building.
I love that. It's visceral. It's taking responsibility for your own 6 feet of earth. We see it in Papua New Guinea too. These Kennebot mothers who are starting fitness and entrepreneurial groups. It's the same spirit. When the government fails, when the culture gets weird, you turn to your neighbor, you pick up a weight, and you build something.
That's the rallying cry for today, Will. We're watching the high-level madness, the drones, the Iran conflict, the teachers' unions, but underneath all that, there is a spirit of community that they cannot kill.
They can't. They want us isolated, Diane. They want us staring at our screens, getting angry about gas prices, which, okay, we should be angry, but they don't want us out in the park plogging or cheering for the underdog at the local high school.
Because that's where the power is. The power is in the family, the faith, and yes, the football, or basketball in this case. We need to hold on to those traditional values like they are a life raft, because they are.
They literally are, whether it's the NHL stretch run or a first 4 play-in game where Prairie View A&M made history last night. It's about the spirit of the underdog. Americans love a comeback, and I think this country is due for the biggest comeback in history.
From your mouth to God's ears, Will. We have to wrap this up, but look, it's a busy day. Check your gas prices, keep an eye on your kids' schools, and for heaven's sake, watch the skies. If the drones show up, at least make sure you're wearing a nice outfit for the footage.
And keep asking the simple questions, America. What is going on here, and why are they doing this? The answers are usually simpler than they want you to think. They hate you, but we don't.
We certainly don't. We'll be back tomorrow with a Friday reality check. Until then, keep your head up, your heart full, and your glass of whatever you're drinking very, very cooled.
Go Blue Devils or South Florida, whoever the underdog is. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, America.